Hello everyone, what's up? Prince15 here with another video review. Today I'm taking a look at LEGO Star Wars set number 75337, the ATTE Walker from Revenge of the Sith. But before we take a look at the set, let's go ahead and take a look at the box. So here we have the great big old box for this ATTE. So here we have the ATTE and blah blah blah. That's so many similar letters together. It kind of does run together a little bit. Here's all the minifigures and everything that they're doing. As you can see, they're running around, they're fighting. There's a clone trooper there. Of course, this is a set from LEGO Star Wars, as you can see right there. This is for ages 9+. Of course, that's just a suggestion. They have to put that on there. 75337 ATTETM Walker. Even more T's. It's 1,082 pieces, and it's a building toy in several different languages. Now, when we flip it over to the back, here's more things that the set does. So, you know, it opens up. It can hold clone troopers. You can put the pilot in there, blah, de blah, de blah, de blah. The thing turns, you can pick it up. Disney. And of course, you can go to lego.com/Star Wars with your parents' permission. Of course, all the typical things you usually find on the box. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the box. So that would have irritated me. That's just slightly off-center, too off-center for my liking. So anyway, here we have the newest ATTE from LEGO Star Wars. Of course, surprisingly, this one is Revenge of the Sith themed. But it's not a bad surprise at all, which we'll, of course we'll get into here in a moment. You know, at first glance, this kind of looks like a lot of other ATTEs that have come out in the last couple of years. But there was more than one reason I wanted to pick this one up. There's an obvious one right there, which of course, like I said, we'll get to in a moment. But another reason I wanted to pick this up was just kind of for my own satisfaction, because last year when it was April of last year, 2022, when the leaks for all the summer sets were starting to pop up online, and it looked like, oh hey, there's going to be a new large-scale ATTE coming out. And so everyone was going, okay, kind of makes sense. It's probably going to be Attack of the Clones themed, since 2022 was the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones. That makes sense, right? Well, but also around the same time, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga came out, and there was a whole bunch of minifigures in that game that were also getting released in sets around that time. And so it's like, oh, so, you know, it's a little bit of cross promotion here with, you know, here's the minifigure in the game, and then here's the minifigure in this new set you can buy. They even made the newest version of Obi-Wan's Episode 2 Delta 7 Interceptor straight, you know, with the, you know, design straight out of the game and everything. And of course, it comes with a Taun We, which first time we've gotten a Kaminoan minifigure, looks just like she does in the game. So it's like, you know, there's a lot of examples like that kind of around that time. Well, so I was looking at some of these kind of crossovers, and it's like, okay, is this just kind of a coincidence because the game was delayed so much? But one of the things I looked at was, well, you know, this game does have a Phase 2 Commander Cody in it. And, you know, it's maybe nothing, because there's a whole bunch of characters that they just create models for in the games. That they've done that in the past, long before they've had official minifigures, like, say, Plo Koon in the Complete Saga from 2007. But, you know, it just seemed a little too coincidental for me that here we have this Phase 2 Commander Cody in the video game, and then we've also got this new ATTE set that we know is going to be coming out in the fall. And so I just kind of said in one of my Discord groups online, I was like, hey, what if instead of this ATTE being Attack of the Clones themed, what if it's Revenge of the Sith themed, and it comes with a Phase 2 Commander Cody? And I didn't get laughed out of the chat room, but everyone didn't think that was going to happen at all. Everyone was like, no, there's no way they would do that. We're never going to get a Phase 2 Commander Cody. It's going to be Attack of the Clones themed. And then sure enough, what starts to happen? But the leaks, the images start to leak. And I guess we'll just go ahead and jump right in. But yeah, so here we have, finally, after all this time, a Phase 2 LEGO Commander Cody. And it's awesome. Now, it's funny that I made that prediction based on the fact that Skywalker Saga was out when this Commander Cody does have differences to the Commander Cody in the game. For instance, how the visor connects and everything, and then he doesn't have the black leg connector piece like he does in the game and everything. So I think maybe while I was technically onto something, that was just a massive coincidence, but that was another reason I did want to get this set, is that, oh, hey, look at me, I was right about a thing. So it's just, seeing this, I'm ever going to have that little smug satisfaction of, look who was right. And so anyway, so yeah, of course, a lot of people are going to be picking this up for the Phase 2 Commander Cody, or just buying him outright on Bricklink, probably for an expensive, but not as expensive as a whole giant walker toy set price. So yeah, it's Phase 2 Commander Cody. I'm very pleased with how this figure turned out. He looks really, really good. Just he's got the little jetpack back there and everything. It's like, you know, just the fact that we have a Phase 2 Commander Cody, I think it's just really, really, really awesome. Come on, focus. Thank you. So yeah, I really appreciate that we actually have one of these guys now, and he even comes, and they even went through the trouble of giving him a unique face. Is like he's got his little scar on there, which I think is cool. They could have just given him a regular clone face, and I don't think anyone would have I don't think too many people would have really noticed that much. But to diehard Star Wars fans out there that know that Cody's got the scar on the left side of his face, you know, it is accurate. But more than, you know, on top of also just getting this Phase 2 Commander Cody, they also printed the visor piece in orange, which means that you can take your Phase 1 Commander Cody from 2008 and give him the orange visor, and it matches. It finally matches. Gone are the days of giving him the gray visor, or taking the gray visor and dipping it in orange paint, or what have you. It's like he actually has an official molded Lego orange visors. So yeah, here we have the two Commander Codys next to each other. Really, really cool to see. I am I'm very happy that we are in this state where it's like, oh, look at all these cool minifigures we have, and especially for, you know, I mean, as much as a following Clone Wars has, and the greater since Star Wars is kind of so universal, and a lot of people like Star Wars, but they don't completely dig into all the nitty-gritty stuff. Cody is a little bit of a niche character, so the fact that we do have two versions of Commander, as important as he is to the story, he is just a teensy bit of a niche character, so the fact that we do have both versions of him here is cool. And of course, they come out with this, and then like 6 months later, the Bad Batch Season 2 premieres, and we get Imperial Commander Cody, so not long after we get both versions of Commander Cody here, there is now a third one that is now MIA, and it's going to be a question of when do we get that one. And I know people have already, done like little mock-ups of their own versions and everything, but yeah, no, I think it's very cool that we have a Phase 2 Commander Cody. I'm very pleased with how he turned out. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for Cody. We'll go ahead and take a look at the two 12th Troopers here. There's 3 of them in the set. I've got one in the cockpit there. You can see they're identical. They all look the same. They're clones. Here's the new clone face that came with the 501st Battle Pack. I think that was the first one that was included in. And then just for a quick comparison, here he is with the old 212 Trooper from 2015. I do like this design just a touch more, because I do like how this is an action, this is movie stylized, where this looks like, a toy, a cartoon toy version of it. It's like, this kind of almost reminds me of a bit of the Clone Wars art style. So I don't quite understand why they went this direction with the helmet designs lately, instead of doing it more like this, especially since this isn't supposed to be based on Clone Wars. This is actually supposed to be based on the movie. But it's really a nitpick. It's not a huge deal to have it like this. So yeah, and they do look good together. They just opted to give these guys white arms instead of the orange ones like here. And of course, to better kind of show off the new helmet mold, they do have these holes drilled in here if it wants to focus. Come on, focus on the helmets. Still not. Okay, there we go. That's better. It does have the holes right there. And some people have complained that they're too high up. I mean, technically speaking, the hole is in the correct place. But yeah, that should be extended a little bit upward. I don't really think that's a huge deal. It's really just a nitpick for me, but would it have been nice for it to have been a little bit higher? Yeah, I guess, but it's not a huge deal. And then last clone trooper here, but not least, we have the new clone gunner. So not really too much different from the one we got with the TX-130 set that Ayla Sakura was in several years ago. He's just got some battle damage scratches on him and the new, more stylized armor. So, but this really could have just been another regular 212 trooper, but I do like that they actually went through the trouble to give us a clone gunner, since those are the ones that are sitting in the gunner seats up here. So I do actually. Come on, get in there. There we go. I do actually appreciate that they went through the trouble of giving us a clone gunner in the set, so it wasn't just another 212 trooper. And then, of course, not much to speak on here, but we do have battle droids. Really, the only thing notable about these guys is that LEGO gave them the gunmetal gray blasters for some reason. I don't know if you can really tell that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's gunmetal gray instead of the black. I thought that was an interesting choice because E5 blasters aren't gunmetal gray. They are black, like the DC-15s that the clones have over here. But I mean, I guess it differentiates them as toys just a teensy bit. But you know, it's not a it really is just such a nitpick. It's like, oh, why do the droids? This guy will stand up, just flailing around over here. It really is just a weird nitpick of why'd they give them gunmetal gray blasters. That's weird, but it's, you know, it's whatever. It's not a huge deal. And of course, we do get a dwarf spider droid here, so pretty similar to a bunch of other dwarf spider droids we've gotten over the years. The only difference now is that instead of using one of the antenna, he's got a fencing sword in as his antenna here. I think they may have done this with the dwarf spider droid that came in the Assault on Kashyyyk set from 2019 that came with the big ATRT walker. I think they probably built it this way then too, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, but I mean, it's a dwarf spider droid. If, like I said, its construction is pretty similar to others that we've gotten over the years, so not really much to talk about here. So and now that I've got this all nice set up and pretty, I'm just going to go ahead and take my big old hand and swipe these guys out of the way. And sorry, boys, you'll come back in a moment and do that with them too, because let's go ahead and talk about the main event, the ATTE itself, the all-terrain tactical enforcer. It was the workhorse of the Republic Army and a big piece of tech that allowed them to send in heavy units during many battles of the war. So I think this is a really good rendition of the ATTE. Now, like I said, we've gotten several of these over the years now, but I think this one might be my favorite so far. Now, that being said, I feel like it is a little short and squat, but I don't really have that much of a problem with it. And one of the reasons I don't have a problem with it being a little shorter and squatter than some of the previous models we've gotten is that there's not a lot of gappiness here. It really does, it's very tight. There's not a lot of, open lines here, and they actually go through the trouble of making sure that it looks all enclosed and everything like it should. And we'll get into some comparisons on another model that maybe doesn't do that as well here in a bit, but yeah, overall I think the design is really good. The legs move pretty well here, and you can actually get a little bit of movement out of these here, so you can kind of, so if you want to, you can kind of have it look like it's moving forward by pushing these up and everything, and then because these legs are just loose enough, it does kind of look like it's moving with it. So I don't think that's an intentional play feature, but I think that is kind of a cool play feature nonetheless, even if it's not intentional. And the fact that you move that and then it looks like there's big gears turning and everything. So I think that is kind of cool. Don't know if that was intentional, but it was just it is cool that it can do that. Of course, you've got these cannons on here. You can kind of point in any direction, but of course, they're usually always pointed on the front. And then we do have the cockpit, which will open here. Now, something to point out on this that differs from other ATTE cockpits in the past is that there is this little stud here that you can see on both sides. You do have to grab that and pull it out like that. If you don't do that and you he fell out. If you don't do that, you try to grab it from like here or something, then you're going to rip all of this apart. I've done that once or twice already before I figured it out. So you do want to grab a hold of these pieces here and use that to pull it out. So yeah, here's, again, same clone that, like the others. But so yeah, here he is in his little seat. Just go ahead and put him back in. It just slides back in ever so easily. And then, actually, hold on, I'm going to bring him back out. And then there is, I guess he's just going to do that. And then there is an axle in there, as you can see. And then that just fits into there, which is why it's such a snug connection. So there we go. So that way, if you were to like tip it forward, everything's not going to slide out of there. So, of course, the main feature of the ATTE is, of course, this top-mounted gun, and like others, it will turn around and do a 360 if you want it to. Now, a big difference with this one compared to other models is that instead of the whole gun emplacement moving up and down, only the barrel of the gun itself moves up and down. I don't really like that. That is like a... It's not really an issue with the toy itself. It's more of a accuracy, nerd complaints here. It's like, that's not how it works. The whole thing moves up and down, not just the barrel. They got that wrong. It's not really an issue with the toy. It's just more of a nerdy question of accuracy. So, do I particularly like that that's how it works? No. Is it something I could easily mod? Yes. Is it something I'm probably going to mod? Maybe. But, it's not really a huge deal. It still turns 360 like it should. And you do get these stud shooters on the side, so you do get some firing action out of the main gun. Woo! That went like all the way across the room. Oh, I found it. Hold on. And like any stud shooter, you do usually get extras of these if you do lose some. So we'll just go ahead and pop that right back in there. But speaking of accuracy, other than the fact that the barrel doesn't, that the whole thing doesn't tilt and it's just the barrel. Other than that, I do like that the seat actually looks a lot more accurate. So it's kind of a trade-off. It's a little bit of a trade-off because the whole thing isn't as accurate because it doesn't tilt. But the design of it overall, I think, looks better than previous ATTE cannons because you do kind of have this swooping feature here to where the seat is, and that looks pretty accurate to me. So aesthetically, this is a beautiful looking toy. I think this is, I think probably one of the more accurate ATTEs we've ever gotten, just in terms of the design. And I do, now I think this is a little controversial when it was revealed, but instead of this being a big plate that you put on there, this is actually all brick built and everything. And I do, and at first I saw that, I was like, but I like the big plate. But you know what? Actually, I like the brick built. I think the brick built there looks good. So we'll go ahead and get into more play features here. So because this is a big transport tank, you can open this up like such, and then just lift this up. And I find this really cool. This isn't a combination of parts I typically think of. So you've got these little kind of ratchet joints right here. Maybe ratchet joints, not the proper term, but you've got these little clips right here that allows pieces to ratchet, kind of make those clicky clicks. And then you got these, which is the grips, and they do click into one another, and it's a solid connection, but it's not so solid that you can't just open it back up like that. So that's really cool. I do like that. And then you can open this up a little bit more if you want to kind of get the clones situated in there. So we'll go ahead and take the clones and get them situated. So here's Cody. We'll just put him right here at this seat, kind of the little terminal, so it looks like he's commanding things. Get him in a nice sitting position there, and then we'll get these guys, get them to give up their weapons. I'll just take this off, clip that on there, and then clip that on there, and then we can just put this back in like so if it wants to go. Oh, actually, hold on. Maybe that's not going to work because I think bringing this down, yeah, that's, oh, hold on, maybe it will work. No, it won't. That's too tall. Huh. Well, then why'd they design it like that? I just now realize it's too tall, and it's like, huh. So okay, well, we'll just put these off to the side for now then. But that's kind of how they advertise it. But yeah, that's not exactly going to work because things are too big. Huh. Well, how about that? So, okay. Well, anyway, you get the idea. The clones just go in here. Maybe. Huh. Not really wanting to. There he goes. I was about to say he's not really wanting to fit in there, but he works eventually. And then we'll put the other guy here. And then we'll just fold this back up like I tried a second ago. Do that and fold that up there. And then you've got all your troops loaded in and you are ready to go. Now, if we turn this over here, you can actually do the same thing over here and lift that up. I'm going to have to move the camera though. And you do have another little area in here. You can put some more troops if you have them. And then that right there, that's a little section that has thermal detonators on there, which I think is a nice touch. So you really do have this whole big walking command post with the ATTE, which is something I've always really, really liked about this particular vehicle. And I guess if we're gonna, just to finish up here to talk about some more nitpicks, I do have a couple small nitpicks. And other than the accuracy of that, and that is their stickers. If you've watched my reviews for any amount of time, especially Lego reviews, you know I get cantankerous about the stickers. I just don't like stickers at all, and they just, it's just the bane of my existence on Lego toys. Especially if we'll look here, this one right here is also kind of askew. That one's kind of askew. It's like these ones on the side aren't bad, but I just really do not like stickers at all. And it's just very, very, I just always find them annoying when it's like, okay, gotta peel them off the sheet and I gotta put them on there and it's, I just always have to throw it in as a nitpick. It's not an active problem with the toy, but it's I just don't like stickers at all. It's like, just print the pieces. And I understand why you don't print the pieces, because it's expensive to make a whole separate piece just for this one panel on an ATTE, but it's like, so because they don't get a lot of reuse, so I get it, but it still frustrates me because I can't place them very well. So that's just a personal thing of mine. And then last but not least, you can grab it right here and use that to lift it up. Now, I don't think it's supposed to tilt forward like that, and that's because I'm a dum-dum and I didn't construct this correctly, because if I can grab them, here we go. I finished this and I looked, I'm like, it's strange that I have these two pieces left over. Why do I have these two specific pieces left over? Usually these are, now it's focused. Usually these are the type of pieces you don't get extras of. You get plenty of extras of all sorts of other pieces, but usually these aren't pieces you get extras of. So I'm just thinking, like, what gives? Why do I have extras of these two pieces? And it's because these two pieces were supposed to go in here with the two others that are identical to these that I did put on the bottom rungs here, because that kind of keeps this thing in place. And as you can see, it's wobbling around a little bit. And so the idea is that when you bring this up, it stays up because there's not room for it to wobble around. And then you pick it up and then it doesn't shift to the front like it did that, because the weight's supposed to be evened out and balanced a little bit more when this is, not shifting around. However, I was a dum-dum and missed that in the instructions, so if I do pick it up like that, then the front flops a little bit because the weight's not evenly distributed, because of the way this works, because this is supposed to go straight up and not move at all. Could I disassemble this and put those in properly? Yes. Am I going to do that? No, because the ability to pick this thing up like that is not really a big deal for me. So I'm not even going to bother with that, really. That's a feature that they could leave out of the set and it wouldn't affect me one way or another. However, I do understand that it makes it handy for transportation, especially around the toy room. So so, and kids can pretend like they're a drop ship dropping it off onto the Battle of Geonosis or something like that. So so it's nice that they include it, but I'm a big old dum-dum and didn't construct it correctly. So yeah. So that's pretty much it for this, but we'll go ahead and get into comparison now. And speaking of not constructing things correctly, here we have the ATTE from 2008 to go with the Clone Wars movie, because yes, I am just that old. I'm actually older than that, even though you little dusty. So yeah, this is my childhood ATTE. Very, very good for the time, especially 2008. And boy, is it a big boy. It is a big boy of a set. Because if we kind of put these side to side here, we'll just have him like that, and then we'll have him like that. And then we pick up the camera. There you go. As you can see, yeah, it's like, you can see that this one's clearly longer than this one. Little awkward camera angle there, but you know, it got the job done. So yeah, this is a big boy compared to this new one, but it's also very gappy, which as you can see, which is, you know, one of the things I like about this guy that I was talking about a second ago. It's like, using, you know, it's not as gappy as this one. However, the fact that it's so gappy is one of those things that I question. Is it actually supposed to be gappy like this? Or is it because I was like 10 years old when I built this? And so it's not exactly constructed correctly in multiple places. One of those being that I did kind of just deliberately skip parts of the instructions. So for instance, if you look under here, there's supposed to be the old technical launchers in here, because the idea was that you would press down on this like this, and then it would fire a rocket out of there, and it came with a battle droid on a stap, and then it'd be a game of knocking the battle droid off the stap. So it would be cool idea. Oops. Also, that happens. If so, which is, again, I think is maybe one of those things if I didn't construct it correctly. Also, this really turns. So it's just one of those things where it's like, this is pretty good for the time. I like the design of it and everything, and it does look more like the animated model than the live action one. And it does have these, which are, you know, actually printed and accurate to what the things look like in the TV show and everything. But yeah, no, this definitely is showing its age, and that this is a toy from a different time. And it's like, even I think I did fix this, but yeah, it used to be where I would open this and then like the entire thing would come off. Because several years ago, I was messing around with this, and I did remember that when I built this, I got about halfway done building it, and like I took a break. And then when I got back to building it, I flip-flopped the ends by mistake. So like the pieces and the connection points for the front, I accidentally completed on the back, and then all the connection points for the back, I accidentally completed for the front. So it was for the longest time, this thing wasn't even. It was a weird amalgamation of pieces and parts, and things were too spaced out, and it didn't really quite look right. It was a little wonky for a long while, and then a couple years ago, I sat down and I found the instructions online, and I kind of disassembled it. You know, I took off all the panels and everything, and flipped things around and got it situated a little better. But even then, you know, it still looks, you know, not great in places, because like, I'll swing it back over here. You can see that I missed a piece, so there is that kind of little gap right there. And also, this has stickers, so that's totally slanted, you can tell. Now, I do prefer the opening right here, where you just grab that and then slide the guy out like that. I do prefer that over what's on the new one, but that's like the one thing I prefer on this, because this thing also, because it's so old, it feels so fragile that I don't feel like I can move the legs really around any. This doesn't go up nearly high enough for, I think, for you to get a good grip on it. Also, it's kind of facing the wrong way, and this I think I did build correctly. And this is supposed to be the whole pickup thing, but again, I feel like this thing's too fragile to really pick up. So much larger than his little brother over here, but I think this ATTE is superior to my old one. Of course, I'll always love and cherish this thing because it's a beloved childhood toy of mine, but in terms of an actual well-constructed product, at least from how I was able to build it and construct it, this guy takes the cake. So yeah, but you know, it's cool seeing the two next to each other, and you know, this being more based on an animated technically speaking, they didn't build a real ATTE for the prequels. But you know what I mean? It's like, the films were made to look realistic while this was an animated TV show. So, this is based on a model from an animated TV show. So a teensy bit different in cases. Because I think these did have more red on them than the ones in the films. So yeah. So there's my comparison between the two. So definitely an upgrade. I'll just move him back over here. I don't know why I keep calling the tank a ham, but I mean, it's like it does kind of have a vaguely almost rhinoceros look to it, sort of kind of with like the big legs and everything. So I feel like if this were to be an animal, this would be like a giant rhinoceros or something, I guess, maybe. But yeah. So that is the newest. A little hiccup there. Sorry. That is the newest ATTE, and I think it's pretty good. It's a really, really solid toy. I think it just looks really, really good. Probably in terms of details and stuff, probably the best version they've come out with. In all of the different ATTEs they've made so far. So the only issue with this is the price. Because it's like $150 or something like that, and it's only just over 1,000 pieces. So it being $100, I think would be a better price point. Okay, so yeah, I just double checked. It's $140. Yeah, that's a little pricey for what this thing is, especially with it being a little smaller. It's like. Because I do kind of look at this and I go, okay, yeah, no, it's very well built, but I mean, this is $140. I mean, over $100 for sure, but $140, and the other one that I put back over there from 2008, that one, because of its length and everything, that one feels like it's $140. But this I think this is one that you maybe want to wait on a sale just a little bit. It's like let it go down to 120. 120 and under is probably a better price point for it. But if you really, 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 really want that Commander Cody minifigure, I get it. I mean, that could be like that. That figure itself is probably $20 or $30. So I mean, just look at it that way, that you're paying 120 for the tank and then 20 for the Commander Cody minifigure, I guess is a way you could look at it. But yeah, I think this is definitely a worthy addition to anyone's Grand Army of the Republic collection, and it will look good with all your clone troopers and even past ATTEs that you might have. So it's definitely something that I think is worthy of being picked up if you're interested in the prequel Clone Wars era. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for this review. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Those links are in the description below, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.